First days of spring are for many a time to consider a convertible. For many, these considerations will remain but a dream. However, for those of you willing to take it a step further, I have a Rolls Royce Dawn.
You don't always buy a car because it's practical. Nobody needs a Rolls Royce, and yet clients buy cars like this to reward themselves for hard work, for success. And a convertible roller screams opulence. By the way, please excuse extensive use of stock footage, but I had this car for less than 48 hours, not enough to travel to a visually attractive location which this car deserves.
First of all, you have to think about what kind of car you're going to get. So, never ask an MX-5 owner about their cabriolet, because it's not a cabriolet, it's a roadster. Engine in the front, rear-wheel drive, 2 seats in the middle, removable top, that's a roadster, not a cabriolet. Similarly, with Rolls Royce, the Dawn is not a mere cabriolet, it's a drop-head coupe, which means a 4-seater, 2-door car with a removable top. In Rolls Royce, they don't call things by their common name.
But for the purpose of this video, let's assume every car with a folding roof is a cabriolet. Now let's think about the roof, soft top or hard top. The former usually folds faster and is more compact. The latter usually takes up more boot space and is heavier.
But there are exceptions, because for example, in the MX-5, hardtop folding roof takes up just as much space as the soft top, and neither of them actually takes up any space in the small boot. The boot is tiny, but the roof folds behind the seats, between the seats and the boot. In the Dawn, on the other hand, we have this so-called silent roof ballet, which takes ages. Really, it takes ages. But on the plus side, you don't have to stop. You can do it at speeds of up to about 50 kilometers per hour. And this means you're not obstructing traffic so much, just a little bit. And I always find that whenever I'm opening or closing the roof because the weather is nice or because it starts raining and I'm at the lights, halfway through the roof ballet, dance, whatever you want to call it, green light comes on and you have to start moving.
Other exceptions relating to soft and hardtop include security or using the car in colder weather. I chose a hardtop MX-5 because I also drive it during the winter and my garage is not heated, so there is nowhere to melt the snow and ice. By the way, don't try opening a soft top when there is frozen snow on it, because you can damage not just the mechanism, but especially the fabric.
And then there's the matter of sound insulation. Mazda MX-5 is loud inside, whether you have a soft top or a hard top, whether the roof is up or down, it doesn't matter. Rolls Royce Dawn, on the other hand, is pretty quiet, even with the roof open, and with the roof closed, it feels like I'm driving a Wraith. It's absolutely silent. So usually newer cars, you don't really have to worry about soundproofing or about thermal insulation, because modern fabric rooftops, they're okay. In older cars, however, if you want to buy a second-hand car, you want to check 2 things. First of all, the seals around the doors, and second of all, if the roof mechanism is working. Chances are you are going to see any holes in the actual roof. What I suggest is that you take the car through an automatic car wash, you know, a regular automatic car wash, the one with rotating brushes, and you know, if there are a couple of droplets coming from around the seals, that's not a problem. However, if there's any big leak in a car wash, you're gonna spot it. And yes, these roofs are usually safe to take through the car wash.
Before you buy a convertible, check if you like driving with wind in your hair. They say a cabriolet is good for just a couple of months a year. Yes and no. If you mainly drive alone or with one passenger, you can mount a wind deflector in the back, which will shield you from wind turbulence on colder days. Convertibles often have stronger heating. I'd definitely tick heated seats on the options list, and if there is a system blowing warm air into your neck, that's brilliant. I'd steer clear of cars which don't offer at least some of these options. But if you often travel with 2 or more passengers, then we have a problem.
First of all, it's quite windy in the back, even at low speeds. Secondly, unless you have a Rolls Royce, it's usually very tight in the back. However, in the Dawn, legroom is generous. Ooh, and this leather.
Speaking of leather, in most cars you get some sort of eco leather. It's cheap and easy to maintain, which is crucial in a car whose interior is exposed to the elements. But I suspect if you can afford a Rolls Royce, you can also afford someone to keep it clean for you. In case of a regular convertible, the simpler the interior, the easier it is to keep clean.
And don't believe anyone who's telling you you don't need working aircon, because you do. Even or especially in a convertible. On a warmer day, it will allow you to drive around with the roof open. On hot days, really hot days, you're going to want to have the roof up, and then obviously you're going to want to have aircon so you don't boil inside. On really hot days, I find it's best to open the roof at night when you actually don't have all the sun. And speaking of the sun, you also want to pay attention to the fact that your clothes will start fading very, very fast. I mean, the colors. So on a sunny day, avoid dark colors because these are gonna fade away. So wear something light.
Under the bonnet of the Dawn is a 12-cylinder 6.6-liter engine, detuned to 570 horsepower. This is unusual because cabriolets usually need stronger motors to pull extra weight around. This extra weight results from the roof mechanism and additional strengthening of the chassis. But in a convertible which does 0 to 100 km per hour in 5 seconds, I guess engine power is adequate.
Dawn's engine is very quiet. In fact, I even found myself turning it off by mistake. Because I thought the engine was off, so I pressed the button again and then I turned the engine off actually. So it's very quiet. For me, part of the joy, part of the cabriolet experience is being able to drive through a forest road like this and listen to the birds. You know, it's just nice. But I totally understand and appreciate those of you who want to listen to the engine and the exhaust note. The Dawn, yeah, I guess you can hear it, but it's not a car to let other people know you're coming. When they see you, they'll see you. What I don't get, however, is people buying convertible diesels. Oh, that's terrible. You're driving this nice car, there's beautiful scenery, and all you can hear is diesel rattle. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. Don't do it.
I'm sure there are plenty of convertibles in the world, but in Europe our choices are limited to premium brands. Things like Fiat 500c or DS3 Cabriolet have glorified sunroofs. So the cheapest new top-down experience would probably be a Mazda MX-5 or a Mini Cabrio for 23–25,000 euro. Then it gets more expensive with Fiat 124 Spider or a BMW 2 Series.
But if you think about it, Rolls Royce Dawn costs 277,000 euro base before any local taxes, and you can have a convertible for 1/10 of that price. Come on, that's a deal.